welcome to EdTechTeam Live with Work Smarter and Create Harder with YouTube. You'll see our session resources right on this slide, and I will put them in the chat again just in a moment. So just starting with introductions, my name is Lisa Thuman, and I'm the Senior Director of Teaching and Learning for EdTechTeam. My job really is to work with school districts to customize professional development in the United States. And in a couple of minutes, you are going to meet Kyle Pace. Kyle, sorry about that, guys. Kyle is the instructional tech coach at the Green Valley School District. And again, there's the URL for you. So how we're gonna run this is Kyle is gonna do some talking and some live demo for us. He's got some resources there for you. You can refer back to the slide deck. And at the end, you'll have an opportunity to win a GoPro. So I'm gonna stop screen sharing here and switch over to Kyle. Welcome, Kyle.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. And we're going to chat about YouTube for just the next little bit. So I am now going to share my screen. And we'll let Lisa know here. Let us know when you can see it okay.
We're good, Kyle. We can see your screen perfectly.
Okay, awesome. Excellent. Thank you. So yeah, thanks again for having me. And I'm super excited to share with you guys about YouTube for the next little bit. This is one of my favorite sessions that I've done at Google Summits, and I've done this as an all-day workshop earlier this year for EdTechTeam. And I love talking about YouTube and especially the power of video in our classroom. That link there that you see on your slide, on that slide, that will get you to my presentation. Lisa had her link as well. So we're giving you a couple different ways that you can get to the presentation today. My blog and my Twitter name are there in the bottom left corner if you'd like to connect with me at either of those places. So what I like to do during this session is I like to start talking about just kind of lay some groundwork about YouTube, some good foundational information, kind of some YouTube 101, if you will, that I think it's important for everybody to know about YouTube. And we're first going to talk about things we can do with existing content that's out there on YouTube. We all know that there are loads and loads of videos on YouTube. If you think about it, and I always ask this question when I'm face-to-face, but I'll have you guys think about it as well. Think about a time it's one time or another, you've probably gone onto YouTube to learn how to do something. And I always hear examples like, I learned how to fix something on my car, I learned how to sew, I learned how to knit, I learned how to fix a broken washing machine. My example that I always share is I learned how to fix my toilet one time by watching a YouTube with video. So there's lots and lots of great educational content that's out there. And just to give you an idea about the magnitude of content that's out there, YouTube releases some statistics around this every so often, and the current statistic for new content is about 300 hours of new content appears on YouTube every 60 seconds. So if you think about just in the time that we're going to be together over the next 45 minutes or so, a lot of new content is going to appear on YouTube in that short amount of time. And then very recently, just in the last couple months, I think, maybe not even that long ago, YouTube released another statistic, and that is people spend 1 billion hours worldwide watching YouTube every single day. So there is a tremendous, tremendous amount of content that's out there for us. And when YouTube first came out, we thought about lots of videos like this. You know, this was one of the original viral videos that was on YouTube, and this is the cat playing the piano. I think this got put on YouTube in about 2007, so right about 10 years ago now. And this was there are very much these kinds of videos still out there on YouTube for sure. Not all the content on YouTube is, of course, educational. That's no secret. But again, I think one of the really powerful things now that we can do because of YouTube and the content, the educational content that is out there, we can do things like this, where we can take our students anywhere in the world. If we want to take them to the mouth of a volcano, we can do that now. If we want to take them to Antarctica, we can do that now, because it has become this enormous platform for sharing video content. So it has this amazing, amazing power to take learning well beyond the four walls of our classrooms, the walls of our school, and the geographical boundaries of our school districts and our towns and our countries. And then, you know, of course, we get to experience really, really awesome emotional moments on YouTube as well that we might not otherwise ever get to experience. This video, I'm not going to play it for you, but you have access to the slides, so you're welcome to play it. This is a video of this little baby. He's getting his hearing aid put in for the first time, and he hears his parents and his mother's voice for the first time, and it's this incredibly emotional moment that our kids may not otherwise get to experience. And I think it's important for our kids to see some of those life moments, those positive life moments as well, that the power of video brings. And then, of course, I've got several examples here on this slide about just the types of things that students can create, and certainly teachers can create as well for their students. But as we go along, I'm going to shift your thinking, and I'm going to talk more about you creating content, because YouTube is a great platform for teachers to publish content for their students. And then certainly, like I said, students, we need to be allowing them to create content as well. We should want our kids creating content more than they're consuming content. And, you know, because they're really, really good at consuming content. And I always say that if consuming content on YouTube was a paid full-time job, my 10-year-old son would already be a millionaire at it, because he is really, really good at consuming YouTube content. But now what's been really exciting to watch my own son is now he's becoming more interested in creating content as well. And that's, I think that's really where the power lies, when our students realize they have the ability to be creative and create video content for literally a global audience. And that's a very powerful learning experience for our students. So let's go ahead and dive right in here to some key YouTube terms that I think it's important for everybody to know. And we're going to go through these kind of quickly. We'll go through these in this order. Like I said, we're going to start talking about things we can do with existing content, and then we'll get towards the end talking about important things to keep in mind when you are creating the content or you're allowing students to create the content. So I'm going to jump out of my slides here at this point, and I'm just going to jump right over here to the YouTube homepage. And we're just going to call up a YouTube video. And if you want to click right along with me and do this, you are more than welcome to do that. So I'm going to just pull up this video here, and we're going to pause it because we don't really need it to play right now. But those first couple of YouTube terms that's important to understand are channel and subscribe. We'll start with channel. Channel is your presence on YouTube. That's where your content that you have put on YouTube, that's where that lives. Everybody has the ability to have their own channel. For example, so if we look at this video, right here underneath the video where my mouse is at, I see that this video is coming from BBC America. And I've got a verification check mark next to it. So if you ever are wondering whether or not a channel is the official channel for that person or for that entity, that check mark is what tells you that. So we see right here, it's coming from BBC America. You can probably think of all kinds of other well-known organizations, channels that are on TV, and so on that have a presence on YouTube, like the Discovery Channel, Animal Planet, National Geographic, the list goes on. And of course, you know, anytime I want to rewatch something funny that Jimmy Fallon did on The Tonight Show, I go on his channel and I watch it. So lots and lots of people have their own channel. And we all have the ability to have our own channels as well. So looking at that channel information, you'll notice I can click on the name of the channel. So if I click on the name of the channel, that's going to take me to that channel's page, and that's going to take me to where I can potentially find additional content from that same person or that same organization. That can kind of lead you down the rabbit hole of finding good content by looking at the channel that it's coming from. And then right underneath the channel name is the subscribe button. So you can subscribe to as many channels as you want. And then of course, we have the number right to the right of the subscribe button that tells us how many subscribers this channel has. So we can see just a little over 500,000 here for BBC America, which is a lot of subscribers. So that also gives you a good indication of a channel's popularity, of its that it's providing quality content by looking at that number. And then I can click subscribe, and once I do that, it's going to tell me I've subscribed to that channel. And I kind of equate subscribing to someone's channel to liking something on Facebook. If you've ever clicked like on Facebook before, that's kind of your way of putting a stamp on something that you are probably okay with seeing additional content from that organization, that person, and so on. So because now I've subscribed to BBC America, I'm going to jump back here to the main YouTube homepage again really quick. And the next time I go to the YouTube homepage, you can now see I have this section here where I see BBC America. I see content because that's a channel that I've subscribed to. I also have a tab at the top of the YouTube homepage called subscriptions. So I can always click that to get to any channels that I've officially subscribed to. And then you'll notice over here on the left side of my screen in this YouTube menu, and you might have to click the little menu icon there up to next to the YouTube logo to open and close this little left-hand pane. But there's a subscription section in there as well, so I can see all of the different channels that I've subscribed to there as well. So a couple of different ways that you can get to the content that you've subscribed to. So next, let's talk about ways that, I'll give you a little tip here. Let me stop and give a little tip while we're talking on this video. So let's say I'm going to move this video ahead to about 30 seconds in. So I'm just going to click ahead to 30 seconds. Let's say I found this video, I really want to show it to my students, but the real meat of what I need my students to see doesn't start until 30 seconds in. So if you didn't know, once you have the video paused at a certain spot, I can come out here on the main part of the video anywhere, and I can right click and I can choose copy video URL at current time. So what that will do is it will give me a unique link to this video that automatically makes the video start at whatever point I want it to. So that's a handy way if you need, right when the video starts, if you need to focus your students on a specific part of the video, that's a great way to easily get a link to that will allow you to do that. And I'm going to show you guys a tool here in just a second that will also let you customize the end time if you need to trim off anything off the end of a video. I'm going to show you guys how to do that as well. The next term, though, that I want to talk about is playlist. So this is how you can organize content for your students, and a way your students certainly can organize video content that they come across on YouTube. So down here below the video, I have this button to click on that says Add To. And when I click on that, that's going to show me all of my existing playlists that I have, okay? So for example, I've got this playlist right here called Amazing Videos. So if I want to put this video on that playlist, I simply check the box next to it, and I've added it to that playlist. But if you haven't yet made a playlist, you'll notice in that same little window that appears, I have an option to click on that says Create New Playlist. So when I click on Create New Playlist, it's then going to give me a box where to type in the name of the playlist. So let's just call this Arctic Mammals, okay? And then what I want you to notice is that right underneath where I name the playlist, this is where I can choose my privacy setting for this particular playlist. Now, what you want to keep in mind, this is good information for also for when you're putting content on YouTube or when students are putting content on YouTube. You have three choices: public, unlisted, and private. So public, it's important to know the difference between these three. So I always like to take the time to explain that. Public means your playlist, or if it's an individual video you're putting on YouTube, you can think of it either way. That means your video is not only viewable by anyone in the world, that means it's searchable by anyone in the world, okay? That means someone could find your playlist by going up here to the search box on YouTube and typing in keywords that might bring back your playlist, okay? Unlisted, which is probably what you're going to pick most of the time, gives you a little bit more control over who sees it, because anyone in the world can access it and view it, but only if you provide the link in some way. So we're removing the ability for it to be searchable if we make it unlisted, okay? So you have to provide the link by email, you have to put the link on your classroom website, you have to put the link in Google Classroom. However you choose to get the link out to that particular playlist, that is totally up to you. And then if you choose private, it's just that. Just like when you create a Google Doc, that Google Doc's only private to you and until you share it with specific people. I can do the same thing with a YouTube video or a YouTube playlist. I can keep it private and then have to name very specific people by their email address of who I want to have access to it. Okay, so I'm going to click unlisted, and then I'm going to click create, and it's going to put that on that playlist. So yes, if you were wondering, you can have a video on more than one playlist. Now, I've seen teachers come up with a variety of naming conventions for what they call their playlists. Some teachers like to name them by units that they teach or topics that they teach. I've seen teachers name them if they're aligning the content they find on YouTube with chapters in a text, they're naming the playlists to appropriately to correspond with each chapter. That is totally up to you, okay? So then the question becomes, how do I get to those playlists? Well, we're going to go back to our menu over here on the left-hand side, and you'll notice this is where all of our playlists live. Now, I will give you another little tip here. I just made that playlist called Arctic Mammals. It does not, this is how this has been for a long time. It doesn't instantly appear over here in this library section. But if I come up here really quick and refresh my screen, and I'll pause my video again, and I open that menu now you'll see I have my Arctic Mammals playlist over there on the left-hand side. And then when I click on it, I'll be taken to a page specifically for this playlist. So now in my address bar, I have a unique link just to this playlist that I can give my students, I can give my colleagues. I've seen teachers kind of share the workload by working together to create various playlists and then sharing those playlists with each other. You could create a playlist for your students that's for remediation on a topic. You could create a playlist that provides review on a topic, Or you could certainly create a playlist that provides enrichment for those students that are always done, you know, done first, done early with their work. So you could have a playlist be an enrichment activity as well. You'll notice also when I'm on this playlist, right here in the middle of my screen, I've got this button that says Playlist Settings. So I see that button because I'm the owner of this playlist. Now, if I sent this playlist to Lisa and she opened it up, she wouldn't see the button that says Playlist Settings. She would see a button that says Save. So I could share this playlist with Lisa. She could save my playlists in with all of her other playlists that she has. And then as I add videos or take videos off that playlist, Lisa will always have the most up-to-date version of that playlist. Another thing I want to point out, though, is that if I, as the owner, click on this playlist settings button, then this is where I can come to change the privacy if I need to. But what I really want to show you here is that there is a collaborate tab when you go into the playlist settings on every playlist. So I can turn on this collaborate feature by flipping this little blue switch, and it says invite collaborators to add videos by sharing a link with them. So I can choose get link, and then it generates this unique link for me that I could then copy and paste. So if I want to give Lisa the ability to add her own videos to my playlist, we can build playlists collaboratively if you want to. And you can turn that link off. You can turn off the ability for people to do that anytime you want to. Another cool thing I've seen teachers do is I've seen teachers task their students with collaboratively building a playlist as a class, or for giving students a way to turn in a video that they've created and put on YouTube. The teacher will create a playlist, turn on the collaboration feature, give students that specific collaboration link, and then tell the students, okay, you have between now and Friday to add a video to a collaborative playlist or turn in your video project on our collaborative playlist. And then once that deadline has come, the teacher can come here and hit deactivate link and turn that off. So students can no longer put videos on that playlist. So that's a great way to use the collaborate feature on a playlist as well. So I'm going to hit cancel right here. So let me talk about a couple of other tools that work great with existing YouTube videos. I'm going to go back to our main video here that I've been using as an example. Sometimes when we're on a YouTube video, and we've all been there, especially if we're showing a video in class in front of all of our students, sometimes the worst part about a YouTube video is the content around the video. And what I'm talking about are sometimes these recommended videos over here on the right-hand side. You know, sometimes those recommended videos may have nothing to do with the video that you're watching. Or sometimes the worst part about the video are the comments underneath the video, okay? So let me show you a tool that helps with that. I've also heard teachers a lot talk about advertisements on YouTube videos. And while they may not necessarily be inappropriate, they're just annoying. And it's just class time is precious, and they don't want to, you know, waste, 30 seconds of class time by letting an ad play on a YouTube video. So what I always recommend for that is this tool called ViewPure. This is a completely separate tool from YouTube, so the address for this is viewpure.com. And let me show you how this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my YouTube video, and I'm going to copy the link to my video. So we're just going to copy it, and then we paste it over here into ViewPure, okay? And then we click the Purify button right here, and watch what happens. So it's going to take that video, and it instantly strips everything off from around the video except the video itself. So now we have no comments, we have no recommended videos over on the right-hand side, And this also takes care of advertisements at the beginning of the video, and it takes care of the other recommended videos that pop up when the video is done playing. So now we have just the video on this nice, clean page that we can give students. So what we can do now is we have a unique View Pure link that we can give students. So we can provide our students with, we can copy the View Pure link, and that can be what we post in Google Classroom to give students access to it. Now, a couple things to keep in mind when you're using something like View Pure. It's great because it helps, you know, especially if you're having students watch a video outside of class. It's great for helping keep them focused on just the content that you need them to see. However, this is not meant to keep kids from getting to the video on YouTube. So that's something you want to keep in mind. We have this link right up here at the top that says on YouTube. And if they click that, it's going to take them right back to this spot. It's going to take them to where the video lives on YouTube. View Pure is not making a copy of this video. It's just presenting the video to you in a cleaner way, okay? So just something to keep in mind. We're not talking, you know, this also does not work if your district blocks YouTube. It's not meant to do anything like that. It just gives you a cleaner way to, and a less distracting way to view the video. A quick little tip that I'll give you also about View Pure. This is a little tip that is great for if you're using Chrome. It would work even if you're not using Chrome, but I always use Chrome. When you're here on the main View Pure page, you can have this little section that says use it anywhere. If I take this little orange Purify button and I click and drag it up here to my bookmarks bar, so anywhere I want to drop this on my bookmarks bar, and I let go, it gives me this handy little Purify button up here on my bookmarks bar. So now that just hangs out there on my bookmarks bar. So anytime I come across a YouTube video, all I have to do is click the Purify button, and it instantly kicks that video over to View Pure for me and cleans it up with one click. So it just kind of does the copying and pasting for you in one click instead of a couple clicks.
Can we ask a quick question?
Oh, totally.
The question is, can we use View Pure and still connect video with Edpuzzle?
That is a great question. I don't believe Edpuzzle can take a View Pure link. I think it has to be a YouTube link, or I think, you know, Edpuzzle also take Vimeo links and some other things. But I don't know that Edpuzzle, but honestly, I don't know that I've ever tried it. But my guess would be no, that it would not take a View Pure link. But that's a great question, because if you wouldn't, yeah, if that's, now the comments and the recommended videos, the Edpuzzle kind of already takes care of that. If you're just pulling it from YouTube, Edpuzzle does not take care of the ads necessarily though. So my suggestion would be, if you don't, if Edpuzzle doesn't take a View Pure link, my suggestion would be for the teacher computer, and then you'd want students to have this also. There's a Chrome extension that's called AdBlock Plus that also works great for blocking advertisements, not only on YouTube videos, but just on any website. So that would be something I would suggest trying to, if it's the ads that you're really the most worried about. That's a great question.
So Kyle, it wasn't just the ads, it was even like the comments underneath and the suggested videos to the right and things like that. But AdBlock or uBlock Origin are great suggestions for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those should definitely help with that. One other thing that was, Lisa, was there any other questions right now? Did you want to do any other questions?
Sure, we have two other questions.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
The first question is, did something change about creating custom URLs for channels recently? Just saw a tweet about that. Have to have 100 or more subscribers to be eligible?
I believe that is correct. You do have to have at least 100 subscribers to have your own custom URL for your YouTube channel. So so let me go, actually, I'm going to jump to my channel, and you'll notice now my channel in the address, it just says channel followed by this big long name. So I believe, and I don't have 100 subscribers. I don't have more than 100 subscribers. So yeah, so if you want something like, you know, Kyle Pace at the end of your channel, if you want the URL to your channel to look like that, that I believe that was pretty recent where that changed, that you do have to have a minimum number of subscribers in order to have that.
Great, we're anxious to see what's next.
Okay. One other thing really quickly that I'll share with you guys. I told you I would share with you something that helps not only trim from the front of a YouTube video, but also trims from the end of a YouTube video. And so I have this tool that, this is a newer one that I've recently found called YT for YouTube, ytcropper.com. And it works in a very similar way to ViewPure. I give it the address to my YouTube video, and then I hit crop, okay? And then what it's going to do, and we're going to pause our video here, it gives me these sliders here on the left side and the right side of my video. So let's say, you know, this video is 3 minutes and 15 seconds long. Of course, this is not a long video, but let's say, you know, the real main point that I need students to see is from 30 seconds. So I'll drag the left slider to the 30-second mark. And then I'll come over and get the right slider, and I'll drag that over. And you'll notice at below the video, that end time is changing. So let's say from 30 seconds to 2 minutes is really the main size, the main section of the video that I need my kids to see. So I get that all adjusted. And then you have to do this silly text verification because it wants to make sure that you're not like a spammer or something. So, and I have to spell this correctly. So I have to type these words into the box down here that I see. And I'm going to click crop. And then what that's going to do is that then gives me a cropped version of my video. And just like ViewPure, now I have a YouTube, a YT cropper link that I can give my students for them just to see that cropped version of the video. But again, now we're not keeping them from seeing the original video, because you'll notice right here at the top, it's small, but it's there. They can click on see the original video and get to the full version of the video where it lives on YouTube. So I can also get the direct link down here below the video. I can turn on, if I want the video to loop for some reason, just to play over and over again, I can turn that on. YT Cropper also gives you an embed code. So if you want to embed the cropped version of your video on your classroom website or in a learning management system or some other web tool that takes an embed code, this tool does give you an embed code for that, okay? So a couple of ViewPure and YT Cropper, and there's lots of tools that are like those that are very similar to both of those. These are not the only ones. These are just two that I've really liked, that have been around for a long time, that seem to work well, and more importantly, they work consistently. So that's always something good when we're using different web tools. We want something that works well and works consistently. So that's ViewPure and YT Cropper. So let's talk about, just to wrap towards the end of our time here, let's talk about creating content. Because that's, like I said, we have, anyone can create content now and publish it to YouTube. One of the easiest ways that teachers like to start creating content for their students is by creating screencasts. And even if you haven't ever created a screencast, you've probably watched one at one time or another, where you're seeing someone demonstrate something that's on their computer screen. You're seeing everything that they click on. You're hearing them narrate it, and you're able to watch it just like just like a movie. You're able to pause it, replay it as many times as you want. So I just want to share with you guys a couple tools that I like to use that are good for that. I will share one that is a very Chromebook-friendly option. So if you're in a school where kids are using Chromebooks, there is a Chrome extension that is called Screencastify. Okay, so it looks like, there we go. So I'm using there's a tool called Screencastify, and that allows me, just lives up here with all of your other extensions, lets me record just the current tab that I'm on, record the desktop, or I could just do a recording using my webcam, or I could record both my screen and my webcam at the same time if I also want to be on the video. I've found, though, most teachers aren't super crazy about themselves being on video, and probably lots of other people besides teachers too, but so that's why screencasting is a great option. So anything you want to demonstrate for your students, creating a screencast is a great way to do that. And like I said, I use Screencastify. There is another popular one called Screencast-O-Matic. Okay, that's a great one for Mac or PC. Is using Screencast-O-Matic. So that's another one that's an option. Both of these options have the ability, they give you the ability to publish your screencast directly to your YouTube channel. So it takes care of that step for you. That's what I like about both of those options, is that it makes it easy for you to publish your screencast to YouTube. You don't have to publish your screencast to YouTube right away. Maybe you just want to save your screencast in your Google Drive and you want to leave it there for now. Or maybe you want to create your screencast and just save it to your locally to the specific the computer that you're on. Both of them give you that option to do that as well. So let's talk about, though, once you've put a video, even if it's not a screencast, if it's just something maybe you've recorded with your phone or with your tablet or with a regular digital camera, you know, what do we do? Where's that content live once you have it on YouTube? So up here in the top right corner, there's a couple buttons I want you to notice. First of all, the upload button is right up here in the top right corner. So when I click on the upload button, that's going to take me straight to where I can go grab the file from my computer if I have that video saved on my computer somewhere and start the process of putting it on YouTube. That's where I'm going to start that. But once that's there, and I'm not going to do that live in front of you just for the sake of time, but once the upload is done, then up also in the top right corner, if you click on your profile picture, you'll see this button that says Creator Studio, okay? So when I click on the Creator Studio, that's going to take me to all of the behind the scenes settings for my channel and also for any videos that I've put on YouTube. And the last YouTube term is Video Manager. And you'll notice the Video Manager is here inside of the Creator Studio. And when I go to the Video Manager, this is where all of my videos live that I currently have on YouTube. So on every single one of these buttons, you'll notice I have an edit button that I can click on. And when I click that edit button, that's going to take me to all of the settings that I can customize for this one particular video. So there's a couple things here that are really important to know where the settings are. So I want to show those to you really fast. Down here below the video, you'll notice this is where I can change the title, I can change the description, but more importantly, this is where I can change the privacy settings. If I want it to be public, unlisted, or private, just like we talked about earlier. You can change that anytime you want, okay? So you can change that there. There's also this tab right here under the video that says Advanced Settings. And the two big things I want to point out to you here are this is where you have the ability to turn off commenting. Since that's can be one of the worst parts of a video sometimes, teachers always want to know, how do I turn off the comments? So I always make sure teachers know It's as simple as unchecking a box. When it's your video, that is a setting you can absolutely control. If you don't want to allow comments, great, turn it off. Or I can allow comments, but I can say only show the comments that I have approved. So if you want to moderate those comments, or if you want students to be able to moderate their comments, we all have the ability to do that. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. The other thing I like to point out here in these advanced settings is categorizing your video as education. That's always important, because that is what can determine what those recommended videos are over on the right-hand side. Typically, when you see those recommended videos and they have nothing to do with the video that you're watching, chances are good those recommended videos have been incorrectly categorized. That's why they're showing up over on that right-hand side. So it's always important to check that your category is education for any content that you or your students put there on YouTube. And then lastly, just real quick that I'll show you guys, once you take care of those important kind of security settings, this is where you can start then doing the fun stuff with your video that you put on YouTube. So we have an enhancements tab up here across the top. This is where I can do things like putting my video into slow motion, or I can auto fix the lighting and the colors, or I have a button right here to trim out parts of the video. So this is where you can do the stuff that I was showing you earlier with the ytcropper.com. That's built, you can do that, and it's built right into YouTube when it's your video that's on YouTube. So you have lots of editing features of things you can do. There's an audio tab, so if you want to put background music anywhere on your video, YouTube has a huge library, over 150,000 music tracks that are copyright free that you can use to put on your video. You can have a music track completely replace the original audio, or you could just have the music come in and out at certain spots in the video. If you want to do a combination of narration and music on your video, you certainly have the ability to do that as well. And then the last couple options here are where you can do fun things like annotations. You can have information cards pop up at different spots in your video. And then certainly important to keep in mind for students needing accommodations, this is where you can also go to put subtitles or closed captioning on your videos, which is something I personally, as a teacher, I've had to learn to be more conscious about. That sometimes people might be watching one of my videos that they need those subtitles or that closed captioning if they're hearing impaired. So it's always important to be aware of your audience, that you may have people in your viewing audience that need those types of things for their video as well. One last thing, and then Lisa, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I always get asked too about recording videos on your phone or on a tablet. So if you're an Apple user, so for iPad and iPhone, there is an app. YouTube has an app called YouTube Capture. It's called YouTube Capture. It's separate from the main YouTube app. YouTube Capture is specifically for recording video that you want to go straight to your YouTube channel. So it helps you with that step of getting it from your mobile device to here on your computer, so you have it on your YouTube channel and you can do further editing of that video. For Android, there's an app called YouTube Creator Studio. On Android, you can do recording right from within the main YouTube app, but if you want to have access some of these behind the scenes settings for your video and you're an Android user, there is a YouTube Creator Studio that's available for Android. So just a couple of mobile apps that I wanted you guys to be aware of as well. Okay, Lisa, I'm going to stop talking in case there's more questions, but then also I know there's also people that really want to win a GoPro, so I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Great. The one question that we would love for you to address is Do you plan to talk about using YouTube videos to mute the sound and add your own voiceover?
Yeah, so you can, if you would have to utilize something like Edpuzzle, for example, if you're talking about existing videos that are out there, I love utilizing Edpuzzle for that, because that's one of the things that Edpuzzle will actually let you do. It will let you, it gives you two options on Edpuzzle. You can either completely replace the original audio with your own audio that you can record right there from within Edpuzzle, or you can do a feature on Edpuzzle that allows you to keep the original audio but drop in your own little audio notes at any spot during your video. So what'll happen is if you drop in an audio note at 1 minute and 30 seconds, the video will automatically pause at that point and it will play your audio note. So I always recommend using something like that. Edpuzzle gives you some other great options too, but audio is one of those main options it gives you.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. You might want to turn your screen sharing off so we can see you.
Yep.
So there's a big theme in the chat here all about Edpuzzle.
Oh, okay.
We've done a webinar on Edpuzzle.
Okay.
But one of the questions that seems really interesting is good to know about YouTube capture, but is there a time limit for the video?
I think the time limit of a video is one of those things also that is based on the number of subscribers you have. I think once you hit a certain number of subscribers, YouTube greatly increases the length of a video that you can have on YouTube. I have never come anywhere close, whatever that limit is for less than 100 subscribers. I've never come close to that. I've never run into that. And I would probably recommend also my kind of magic time frame for any one video, especially if you're doing a screencast, is I always suggest not making it longer than about 5 minutes anyway. So just something to keep in mind.
Sure. And I have to tell you, you have at least 2 new subscribers.
Yes.
Yeah. They're trying to help you hit 100.
Oh, yes. Nice. Get that custom URL. Yes.
Absolutely. So I'm posting one more chat with the link to the form to fill out to win the GoPro. Please don't submit more than once. And I'm gonna just go ahead and screen share here. Let's see. And sorry, guys. All right, and Kyle, if you'd go ahead and mute. Yep. We are giving away a GoPro Hero session high def with all of the essential camera activity accessory kits. So go ahead and submit. Everything from tonight, Kyle was so nice to spend this hour with us. You can find this slide deck at EdTechTeam. edtech.team/YouTube April webinar, and you can also find Kyle's direct presentation. We'd like you to learn more and stay connected with EdTechTeam. Find us on Twitter, find us on Google+, join our community, and come to edtechteam.com. I have posted here on slide 25 a link to the archive webinar on YouTube, link to the archive chat, which I'm going to copy and paste as soon as we're done speaking, a link so if you'd like to request Kyle to come to your district or school and do a full day on YouTube Editor, you can go ahead and request it there. And of course, if you'd like an 1-hour PD certificate for tonight's webinar, go ahead and click on that final link there. I'd also like to let you know that we have a YouTube in the Classroom online course. You can register for this about 15-hour, 2-week-long, just-in-time at your own pace course at edtechteam.com/online, and it's just $149. So if you guys are ready for the GoPro drawing, I have just a couple more names that I need to add to our random name picker. And I'm going to spin the wheel. Lisa Schenk is our winner for the GoPro camera, and I will email Lisa just as soon as the webinar is over. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. Everything will be posted in that slide deck, and we'll send you an email just as a follow-up as well. Kyle, thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge and expertise with us.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Anytime. Have a great night, all. Bye-bye.
Bye.